Hello everyone, in this episode of third person series I'm going to show you how to make object breaking simulation with shooting in Unreal Engine 5. But before we start, please like this video and subscribe my channel to discover more Unreal Engine tutorials. Thank you. In this tutorial I'm going to use this jar 3D model which is available for free on Sketchfab, and it is modeled and published by Korea Heritage Service. Profile name. Alright, first I'm going to create a destruction simulation for this jar, but before that I have to make sure that Chaos plugin is activated on my engine. So from edit tab I open plugins and here I search for Chaos. And as you can see here I have this Chaos editor plugin activated, but if you don't have this plugin activated, make sure activate it before trying this tutorial. Alright, now I drag and drop this mesh into my scene, and here from this section I select fracture mode. And now I should generate a new geometry collection simply just with clicking on this new icon. I create a new geometry collection, and here I should assign a location for my geometry collection to be saved. So here I select this jar folder and click on create geometry collection. Alright, as you can see now I have my geometry collection inside this folder. Now I should select a fracture mode for my object. Here this plugin has many options to offer, for example this uniform and cluster, and for example radial, that separates your object into radial shaped pieces like this, as you can see in the video, and for example brick and a slice, but in this case I am going to select this cluster. Alright, and now as you can see there are lots of variables and parameters here that you can play with them and randomize the size and number of your pieces and fragments. But right now I think I am satisfied with these options right now. So here I click on this icon fracture, and if I increase this slide explode amount, I increase it, as you can see I can see a preview of my object breaking simulation like this. So I set it back to 0, and here I select selection mode again, and now I should create a blueprint from this geometry collection. So I keep it selected, and here I click on this icon right here and create a new geometry collection, a new blueprint from my geometry collection. Now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for mass, and I set mass scale to something around 25. Alright, now here I search for damage threshold, and as you can see here I have this damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And as you enter lower number to this variable, your object will break faster and easier. Alright, now I compile and I set a scale to 2. I double up the scale. Now I close this blueprint, and now I open my bullet blueprint here, and inside viewport as you can see I have this cylinder, and I select all of them to 1 right now. And as you can see here I have this damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold, and as you can see here I have this damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes, and I set all of them to 1 right now. And now here I select my geometry collection, and here I search for damage threshold variable here that has 3 indexes as my bullet mesh. But now I'm not gonna use this mesh to apply damage to my target, because I think this mesh is too small, and size of the mesh that collides this object will affect damaging and breaking the object. So I'm gonna use another object to apply damage to this jar. So here I select this cylinder and set the collision preset of this bullet to overlap all, because I wanted to overlap everything. And here I hit this plus icon and add a new sphere. Alright. Now I set a scale to 1, but now it is too huge, and I prefer to set it to 0.2. I think it is a good scale for this object, this sphere. And I set collision preset to block all dynamics. Alright, now I compile and run the game. Now I pick up this weapon and alright, shoot my object. As you can see, I have a perfect breaking simulation like this. And you can try different mass scale levels, and also you can change some variables inside your geometry collection. Here, for example, I have this mass variable here, which is by default is 2500, and you can change this variable and also change the mass scale of the object. For example, I set it to 25, and all of them will affect your breaking simulation. And finally, I go back to my bullet blueprint here, and I set visibility of this sphere to false, so it won't be visible in the game. Alright, now I compile and close this blueprint. Now I run the game. Alright, and as you can see, I have this breaking simulation. Alright, if this tutorial was useful for you, please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.